how crazy is this? So you become more expert and qualified in one area if you're teaching someone about whatever you do.
I came across the other day to one of your tweets that you were saying that the only journey is the one within.
That's actually a good one. The reason I fell in love with this tweet is quote because it has reflected to my life so much, and especially now the things I do, um, and the journey I'm falling through is that self-discovery process I'm now going through. And I'm pretty sure everybody who has tried to do something themselves has gone through at some point in their lives. After countless hours of studying successful people, I really had to ask myself one question, and that was, how do they even begin the day? Where do I even start? I needed to go back to the beginning in order for me to find what I seek. And surprisingly, I found out of all these successful people, there are five common traits that most of them have, which we're going to discuss in today's episode. And one of the things is, what time do they wake up? I mean, that is a very vague question, if you ask me, but it's different for everybody. And how I assign this to myself is what responsibilities I have throughout the day. And the very first thing I normally do is I will either plan my day first thing in the morning or just do some meditation, do some yoga, do some stretching exercises, or even breathing techniques.
I will add on that what I personally do the first thing in the morning. I open my blinds wide so I can see the first light touching my face.
And you know, it's interesting that you just said that because it's one of the things that is really important to you. What do I mean by this? There's a study actually about this. That's the first thing that you should do in the morning is to go out in the sun for 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, whether you want to go for a walk, whether you want to go out in the garden, or even open your blinds, the window, so you can get the natural sun in your eyes.
Or if you have a garden, as you said, you can go outside in the balcony or whatever is accessible to you.
Yeah, and if you live in the UK, which we are living in the UK, because the weather here is always so horrible, it rains all the time, especially today it was raining so much. What you can do is to buy artificial lights or have artificial lights in your house so you can get that
Exposure.
exposure to your eyes at least for 15 to 20 minutes. And that has really helped me a lot, especially on sunny days. I like to go for a 10-minute walk just to add on my daily steps as well, but also to get that natural light. And also the fact that when I go for a walk, I'm 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 thinking better. I'm coming up with more ideas. How can I manage my day more efficiently? And how can I do things and set goals on the long term better? I guess that's different for everybody. But I found that when I'm walking, I'm more creative thinking wise.
And again, it's up to your priorities. But as we said, it is beneficial. I find it beneficial for myself. First thing that I do is get that 10-minute light.
Yeah. The other things that I like to do is to work out in the day. And I've noticed that a lot of successful people, they work out during the day rather than the evening. I mean, you can always choose to do whatever time it benefits you, but I'm very much into working out in the morning, and I'm pretty sure you already know that based on your background. if you work out in the morning, is so much better?
Well, what I've experienced throughout my life, I do prefer working out in the morning. Now, you need to do some sacrifices, depends on what kind of job you're at. If you're working like a Monday, Friday that is 8 to 6, what you sacrifice is you have to wake up a little bit earlier in the morning to get the workout done, and then you feel much more fresh and new and ready to go and more energetic without even like having a pre-workout or caffeine or anything. Is the endorphins that they get released by doing the workout first thing in the morning. Now, I have tried doing the workout in the evening due to maybe, one of those days you might have a late morning, you want to lay in bed a little bit more, take your time and do it in the afternoon. The only things that might be a drawback on that is you have like more excuses not to go and do a workout, because after a long day you're tired and you're not going to commit to it.
What are some of the benefits that you get working out in the morning?
You get it done. That's it. One thing less out of your way, out of your checklist. Second thing, as I mentioned, you have more energy for the rest of the day. And number 3,
It really helps you with your metabolism. It really helps you with your fat loss and maintain. And what I've seen by testing this every single day, and it helps my mood as well. And it's you said that as well. You have one less thing to do in the day, and one less excuse, I would say. So if you do this in the day, you get out of the way, and then you do whatever you want to do. Now, what I like to do after going to the gym, I like to eat my first breakfast after 11 o'clock, because I allow my body to go through that fasting period. And one of the things I forgot to mention is, on some days, because I've tried eating before the gym and eating after the gym. If I eat before the gym, I feel I may have like about 20 minutes of energy during my exercise. After those first 20 minutes, I'm not 100% on it. I'm not going to commit to the exercise. I'm not going to commit to anything that I do. My energy levels drop down like hell, and it's just not a very good workout. If I haven't eaten and I go to the gym, it's just my energy levels that are so much better dramatically.
well, you have to think that if you have a meal before you go to the gym, first of all, you have to think that you have to digest that meal. And again, the first thing that you're going to start burning is that meal that you've eaten. So the glycogen is working towards that meal. That's why you're feeling heavier, and that's why you might be like a little bit more, I'm a little bit not enjoying the workout.
Low on energy levels, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Instead, if you fast for that period, you go and exercise, then your insulin levels, they are remaining still low. Then you have your workout, and then after that, you have your first meal. Equally, the benefits that you get from that, first of all, you're fasting, so you're burning more, and it works for your metabolism faster, and then you get third, better results.
Yeah, and what is the first thing that you eat after a workout? I like to eat protein, whether that is a protein shake, whether that is an oatmeal, or eggs with greens as like supplements, and fish oil. Really depends what's on my diet on the day.
For me, what I do first, I have a glass of milk with my collagen. And then I choose that for me. It works very good for me. And then combine it with some eggs, like high
Yeah.
protein breakfast. I don't tend to have many carbs on my diet, and mainly that's because that works for me.
What does collagen does to your body? Is it good for your bones? What does it do?
The collagen is good for the bones, is good for the skin, for elasticity. You have to think that after 20 plus years old, then we lose our collagen.
Okay, so you take it as a supplement, I guess, to add on what is missing to your body.
Yeah, plus you have to think that collagen is high in protein as well. So you get around like 19, 20 grams straight away from your collagen. And then adding another kind of like protein, which is, in my case, I prefer the eggs. And then automatically you have a high protein breakfast.
I was always not into supplements. I'm not really much into getting stuff to get a result sooner and better. I was always into getting into the right diet, having the right nutrition is so much better than I having the right supplements. However, when I came across AG1, that really changed because I'm not very good on having a lot of vegetables. And what I like to do is I'll have my greens, and my mood has increased so much better. I know there's a lot of people say it doesn't taste good. But dude, do you get six pack just overnight? You need to work on it. It's the same thing. Is it one thing that you don't like about the current diet that you have? Or is it one thing that you would do differently on your diet?
I've tried quite a lot of things so far to see what works for me, really. But as I said, sometimes I skip breakfast and I go straight away to lunch. But sometimes I do have breakfast because I feel like I'm a little bit, like my glucose levels are a little bit low, so I need that boost. And then I compromise the fact that I have to digest, and my digestion is a little bit slow in my case.
You did cover on the previous episode that we did that consistency plays a critical part in your body, in your metabolism. And some things that I've noticed in my own personal health is that if I'm eating on certain times, it will increase my mood. If I do certain activities like going for a walk after my meal, it really helps me have a better day after the meal. Because if I normally have a lot of carbs, then I don't know, I don't feel like I'm energized. I don't feel
you
like...
feel sleepy, isn't it?
I feel sleepy, yeah.
Consistency is the key. I know it sounds boring having the meals the same time every day, but it's part of like having a routine in your life, and that works for your benefits.
Other than the nutrition thing, because I know we've stayed here quite a lot, it's very important equally, but equally as that is how you train your brain. And what I've noticed is a lot of people, and ultra successful people specifically, they do some of the things I'm going to cover now, which whether they take part in a podcast, whether they have written a book or read a book, or maybe they learn a new skill. You see all these ultra successful people, they don't really like the sense of having more money. And some of them, they like a set of new skills. And what has really amazed me is how these people are, surround themselves with like-minded individuals, or with individuals that do better than them or have a skill set that is unique to that individual. And for me specifically, what works best for me right now at this situation that I am is either podcast or reading a book or even YouTube, because I can learn from someone that has done it, been there, done that, has taken other people from zero to wherever they are. And now they're teaching the world. And YouTube actually is one of the greatest places that you can be to learn if you don't have access to those individuals or to the events those individuals are going to. How do
And
you learn?
and like myself, I was just about to comment on that. I learn better when I hear something, because when I start reading, in my case, I start feeling sleepy because my eyes are not get used to it anymore. So I prefer to listen things, so I do absorb better the information that is being given to me.
I've recently heard about if you reading a book, you're only keeping about 5% of the information. If you reading a book and listening to it at the same time, you keep about 10% of the information. Equally for podcast, I think it was about 50% and so on. And if you're teaching about it, it's 90% of the information. How crazy is this? So you become more expert and qualified in one area if you're teaching someone about whatever you do. And you, at the same time, you learn the skill set yourself 90% better because you learn to memorize what you do. And it's not just about that. Take this for example. There's so many skill sets that we have to develop. It's not just about being in front of a camera. It's about to develop a skill set of being able to communicate with people. And it's one of the things that I've really doubled down on lately is how well do you communicate? I had someone before we even have this set. It's a set. Before we even have this set, and they said to me, "Why would you start your podcast in English when it's not your first language?" And I didn't let that hold me back. I didn't let that negativity be an obstacle to my dreams. And I said, how is that gonna affect me? I know I can do this. I can prove it. No, I can prove it to others. I can prove it to myself. That's where it all begins. If you can prove this to yourself, you don't need approval from other people. And as I said, it's a lot of skills that skill sets that you need to obtain. It's knowledge, is how you can be able to deal with one area, because nobody's perfect. Even though we are here talking about things, we're not perfect about anything. But if you have a willingness to learn and willingness to evolve and become better as a person and build that, whatever that might be, you may start from a little pool, like a little lake, then you jump into a bigger lake than the ocean. And once you conquer one field, you go into another. And this is how I've learned all these like-minded individuals. They have those visions, they have those inspirations, they have the willingness to sit down with someone and learn what this person has a unique, if they have a unique skill. And most of us, we are very unique in one area, not everything.
That's for sure.
Take you, for example. You've done such amazing things. You've been a nurse for how many years now?
Nearly 9 years.
Nearly 9 years. I could never do that. I could never go through all the things that you have gone through as a nurse.
And my passion in training.
But that's just another thing that you
added
to your life. That's what I'm saying. You become an expert the more that you do it, and the more that you speak about it, you become more knowledgeable about the things that you do. So I hope you guys found this episode very knowledgeable. Go follow us on YouTube at Thirstcast, and we'll see you on the next one.